Your generation is facing new questions which have never arisen. Basically, the question, will the human experiment persist in any recognizable form? And you're the first generation to face the question. You're the last generation to face it. They're saying when we get out of this one, there are others coming, very likely to be worse. They can come and say, I'm your savior, trust me, follow me. Meanwhile, stabbing you in the back. We happen to be in a very unusual moment of history, in fact, unique moment of history. We're in the midst of a confluence of crises of a kind that have never occurred before, and unless they are solved, will never occur again, because unless they are dealt with quickly and effectively, there will be no further human history. This may be coming to a close. For all of these problems and many others, there are solutions, and we know the solutions, and they're feasible. But it's not enough to have knowledge. You have to put it into effect. And unless that's done, and done pretty quickly, we're basically toast. There's no way of predicting. These are matters of choice. You can succumb to it, you can struggle against it, and the outcome of that, there's never any way of predicting. When we finally overcome the pandemic, we will be facing a situation very much like 2003. There was a major coronavirus epidemic, SARS epidemic. It was contained. Scientists at once pointed out there are going to be other coronavirus epidemics, could be more serious than this one. Here's what you have to do to deal with it, to get ready for it. They're saying the same thing today. They're saying when we get out of this one, there are others coming, very likely to be worse. Here's what you have to do to get out of it. Same instructions. Well, what happened in 2003? The knowledge was basically there. The ideas about what to do are there, but somebody has to pick up the ball and run with it. Who will it be? Same questions are arising now. It could be the major drug companies. They have huge laboratories, wonderful resources, profit coming out of their ears, thanks to the highly protectionist anti-free trade agreements. Everything ready except one thing, capitalist logic. Capitalist logic says you don't waste money on something you might make a little profit from 10 years from now, even though it might save the population for destruction. That's not capitalist logic. Capitalist logic is make profit tomorrow. So the drug companies were out. They didn't do anything. There's the government. Government has great laboratories. It actually, most of the basic research that's done for vaccines and drugs is done in the public sector anyway. We have laws which require that though the basic research and the risky steps are taken at public expense, the public is not allowed to share in the profits. Once the work is done, you hand it over to private tyrannies. They do the marketing and make the profit, but including, say, the Moderna vaccine. Basic research all came out of government-sponsored work. The government could have stepped in, but there's a barrier to that too. It's called neoliberalism. Government is the problem, not the solution. So the government didn't step in. So therefore, nobody picked up the ball. By now, the government has said, we've just given up. We can't control it. It's in the hands of states, localities. And my own frank suspicion is that the lame duck administration is perfectly happy with this. If the country becomes really ungovernable and a rotten state, they're in good shape if Biden takes office. They'll have plenty of problems. This will make it worse. The inevitable failures can be blamed on the new administration. They can exploit all this, come roaring back in 2024. I think that's what's being planned. Very likely there are other pandemics coming. So far we've been lucky. Every coronavirus epidemic has either been highly contagious and not too lethal, like the current one, or highly lethal but not too contagious, like Ebola. Who says the next one is going to be that lucky? Maybe it'll be both. Plus it'll all be exacerbated by global warming and habitat destruction. So we can anticipate a much more serious pandemic. And we can do something about it. We can take the advice that was there in 2003. That means we have to overcome capitalist logic, the neoliberal assault, and the malevolence of government figures. That's the three problems. Can all be done. It's not going to happen unless people do it.
If you liked the video, a sub to the channel would be incredible, and also share the video to spread the word. You can watch another video, just click left or right. Keep inspiring.